Dear Convo friends, this week was a big week for OpenAI. They announced not only the GPT store, which I'll probably discuss in another video, but also ChatGPT Team. And ChatGPT Team is a sits right between the individual paid ChatGPT version and the enterprise version. And since many of my clients actually work in this space, being like single teams or smaller companies, I'm of course very interested what ChatGPT team will bring. So I bought a license, and I'm more than ready to kind of dive into this together with you. Before I do so, let's have a look at what ChatGPT or OpenAI themselves say about ChatGPT team. So here's the website. It's a customized, always improving super assistant for every member of your team, which sounds very promising. And over here, we have three unique selling points. We have advanced models and analysis. We have customized for your team, which for me is the main driver to actually start exploring this. So, collaborate by creating and sharing GPTs, custom versions of ChatGPT for specific use cases, departments, or proprietary data sets. Bring it on. Let's see the collaborative features here. Really curious about that. And the third one, secured for your workplace. Get a dedicated workspace for your team with admin controls, team management, stringent security. We never train on your data or conversations. And this one is a bit sneaky because if you're considering switching to ChatGPT Team just for this, there's other ways of making sure that your data doesn't end up in OpenAI training data, and that is by going to privacy.openai.com slash policies, or actually, if you leave out the policies, you also end up here in the OpenAI privacy request portal. And here you can make a privacy request um, where you can say, do not train on my content, or even delete your entire OpenAI account. And this you can do for any instance of ChatGPT, even the free version. So if you're worried about your content ending up in the training set of OpenAI, this is how you can opt out for free. However, I'm not quite sure whether this is just the conversations or also the documents. So we still need to do a little bit of study in the documentation there. But if you're a casual user of ChatGPT and just are concerned about the basic privacy level, this is the way to do that for free. Let's go back to the website. I'm, of course, also very curious about the advanced models and analysis, and they mentioned something about that over here. GPT-4 with 32K content. I think I might already have that on my paid API. I'm not quite sure. Definitely not in ChatGPT. So this is another thing. If you're already working with the APIs, chances are that most of these features will be available there in some shape or form. This is really about the user interface, so the customer-facing implementation of GPT-4, which is ChatGPT. Um, Latest Dolly 3 model. Okay, also not quite sure what model that is compared to the model that I have in my paid single version, individual version. Browsing, got that already. Advanced data analysis, that's also part of my paid individual version. Image and voice input and output, can do that already. Create customized GPTs, that's also part of the paid individual version. Share GPTs and chats with your workspace. I can share them with people who have a link, or I can share them in general. So I guess that workspace is just kind of, limiting it even more. But it's not like these are all new features that are not there yet, right? This is basically your paid individual chat GPT with some security and privacy options. These, and where this one we also already have. So, kind of scrolling through this website, can I say this? It sounds very kind of chat GPT like, right? Big words, big announcement. But if you really read what's there, first impression is kind of underwhelming. And I know this is just the first version. And I guess that if you're buying this license now, as I did, what you buy mostly is buying into a promise, into a future vision of which I'm very curious how it will develop and of which I have certain hopes and expectations. So, and for that, I'm quite happy to pay a little bit more. I gave the other license to my husband, so we'll probably do like a team at home and see what we can do with ChatGPT there. So let's dive into it. Let's go to ChatGPT. What you see here is my personal account. And here's where the sneaky stuff starts. Because as you can see here, upgrade, collaborate on a team plan. But that's what I already did yesterday. So upgrading a plan actually means create a new workspace. And for each workspace, you pay a license fee. What's also really sneaky, and this is something that someone gave me a heads up about, thank you, Bob, that it's actually not upgrading what you do, because if you upgrade to team, which I did yesterday, your current paid individual plan is not cancelled. So that means that you have to make sure that if you don't want to pay your personal plan $20 a month and your team plan $25 per person per month, you need to actively cancel that. And I think that's just sneaky design. That's kind of not so polite and not so transparent. Um, so I'm probably going to downgrade, but not until I have saved all the system prompts of all my custom GPTs, because these are not migrated to the business plan, which makes sense in a way because, hey, they're personal GPTs. But if I downgrade to a free version of ChatGPT, I lose these. So make sure that you back up your system prompts so that you can kind of rebuild, because otherwise, this is going to be quite an expensive little outing. So, yeah, if I click on my personal account, you can see, hey, I've got another one, and that's my business account. They should have called it ChatGPT Business or something. I mean, ChatGPT Team. I keep saying Teams, and then of course it's ChatGPT Teams, and I got such confusion already with some of my colleagues who thought I was talking about Microsoft Teams. No, it's ChatGPT Teams and T Teams. Oh well, phonetician in me is like, not sure. But okay, I switched to my business GPT, and well, the first look is it looks eerily similar to the personal version, which is completely true because that's exactly what it is. The only difference is that here we have a menu item manage workspace, which is the uh, admin panel. And here you can see I have added one more user, which is like our generic kind of household GPT account where we can both kind of build GPTs and I can kind of try out, okay, what happens? As you can see here, we have three user levels. We have owner, admin, and member. A little flash forward, members are allowed to invite new members. And each time you invite a new member, you pay an extra $20, $25 per month. Um, I'm not quite sure whether I want that kind of authorization level on the member level, because imagine having a team of, I don't know, 20 people and they all can invite other members and you're the one paying the bills. I'm not quite sure whether I'd be happy about that. And this is what I meant when yesterday on LinkedIn I said, well, OpenAI might be really good at generative AI, but traditional software development, user management, session management as well, because this thing is slow and I cannot open different accounts in different tabs. I know it's all teething problems, right? But I mean, um, I guess that the individual paid ChatGPT version for me was a no-brainer. I mean, I bought it even without thinking, and here I'm like, I feel a little bit kind of low-key underwhelmed. So yeah, here is where you can invite members and assign them roles. Billing, I'll skip. Settings, the admin panel, yay, yay. The only thing I can set is whether my members can use third-party GPTs. All the other things, like, hey, who can my members share chats with, are grayed out and only available at the enterprise level. I assume that these are the default settings, I hope. But members being able to share GPTs with anyone, I think I need to kind of try that out, because if that means what I think that it means, that means that if I create a custom GPT here, they can share it. I hope only with anyone in my organization, not just anyone outside as well, because otherwise, what's the point of having like this shielded workspace? So that's something I need to try out in the future. The other thing is that, okay, if people within my workspace create GPTs, there's no way for me to kind of centrally say, hey, you can never use plugins. They can still kind of select the options when they create a custom GPT, but if I don't want my organization to use custom actions, there's no way for me on the team level to kind of disable that like centrally. Retention policy, da 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 da. Chat retention infinite? Interesting. No clue what it means. Also, no clue why it's on the enterprise level. So, analytics are grayed out, identity and provisioning are grayed out. This is the admin panel, and I find this. I don't know. I mean, I expected a little bit more. I mean, if it's a team environment, I at least expected some kind of global company information profile. I mean, when you set this up, you can click a few options like, hey, is your company in marketing, or what is your role? Which, especially for smaller teams, is like weird, because these predefined options, they never match, right? And there's also no way so far to adjust them. But I mean, how lovely would it have been to kind of, like Perplexity, to create a company profile with all the kind of persistent information about your company that can then be kind of used by each individual GPT, so that you don't have to define that in all your system prompts individually. So I'm missing the collaborative tier here big time. And I was like, oh, perhaps I can find that somewhere else, right? Because we haven't actually had a look yet at the ChatGPT interface. So I thought, well, perhaps that's then on the GPT level. So I created a GPT, or actually I imported one, my Convo classifier, which I use for NLU analysis and intent optimization, and basically kind of, making sure that my NLU works. Um, and I thought, well, if I have it here, so if I go to edit, there's a new. Oh, by the way, feel free to copy this system prompt. It's just a small one. It's nice. Um, there's a new option here. So I can publish to, we already had like only me, and it's like a private GPT, anyone with a link, everyone, and now we also have anyone at Convocat. So that means that this GPT is only available for people within my workspace. And I'm like, cool. If I publish it, I expect it to become available also to anyone at Convocat, right? So, okay, confirm. And we have it published. Let me copy the link just to be sure. And of course, now it gets really interesting, because now it's time to actually involve another team member. Okay, can we go back, please? Yep. And all the other stuff, by the way, is just, it's your basic um, chat GPT. And now if you go to explore GPTs, you actually open up the GPT store. Let's see, but that takes like forever. So let's wake up team member number 2. So this is an incognito tab, because if I open a new tab and just log in there, it can only handle one user in one browser, or in one. So yeah, session management is kind of interesting. Let's see, Convo cut GPT. Whoop. So we sign here as my second workspace member, and as you can see, I created a new ChatGPT account for this one. It's a free account, so you can either go to your personal account and your work account, which I really like, because then it's really really clear. Okay, we're in the workspace now, so work policies apply and work GPTs are available. As you can see here, Convocat GPT is also part of the Convocat company. However, I don't see my convo classifier here. So I thought, well, perhaps it takes some time and I should refresh, and it doesn't. And so I'm like, okay, how do I see my company GPTs? Where are my departments? Where is the organizational level of, you know, finding stuff? And it turns out it took me 20 minutes to figure this out. I need to go to the GPT store, which takes forever to load. Okay, and forever, and forever, and forever. There you go. And the thing is, I thought, well, perhaps it's in my GPTs because, hey, when I see my in a company setting, I assume it's my GPTs as in my organizational GPTs. But it's only the GPTs that I created, not the ones that someone else created for my company. So let's go back. And then here it says search public GPTs. So that's also not the place where I assume that my company GPTs can be found. So I tried searching, and then hey, it gives you some other GPTs that I built and that are public, which I'll probably have to promote. But then again, people outside of the US can't monetize their GPTs anyway. So what's the point? But only when I scrolled a little bit, I found out that my GPTs are actually over here. And what I need to do is click it, huh, and talk to it. Yeah, that's the other thing. ChatGPT Team is slow. Uh, okay, so where is it now? Oh, no, no, no. Do I need to refresh? Ah, there it is. And basically, what you get is a link to the GPT. But the thing is, if I just go to Explore GPTs, go to my GPT and say edit, what's the point of publishing it to anyone at ConvoCat if I can publish it to anyone with a link, send the link, and that's the exact same user action? There's really no benefit here other than perhaps, limiting the availability of these GPTs, which is probably cancelled out by the global setting that can only be changed at enterprise level, where we say that GPTs can be shared with anyone. So this needs some more testing, but to say I'm low key underwhelmed is a low key understatement, I guess. Because I'm honestly wondering, like, okay, what did I just upgrade for? Because I was like looking for, I don't know, a chat function or something, or a way to orchestrate different smaller GPTs into workflows that might be kind of applicable to departments. Again, global company information. There's so many different types of knowledge. I've got a lovely little kind of model for that, like different types of knowledge within a company that you can cater for on different levels with different granularity in GPTs or steps or whatever. And also, there's not a single trace or inkling yet of imminent automation. And this is where I kind of start wondering, like, is this because it's just the first version and should I just be patient and see what they're coming with next? Which I really, really, really hope. But I'm also wondering is like OpenAI, it's a young company, right? It's a startup. Do they have a proper sense of the business ecosystem, the business environment where I at least envision this stuff to happen? Do they have a sense of what the proper business use cases are? I hope so. I also hope to see something in that respect soon because I mean, there's plenty of companies around that do know and that are taking very recognizable steps in that direction. Um, the most obvious one being Microsoft. Um, so I'm honestly wondering, like, are we just being sold a promise, or are we being sold bullshit? Let's see what happens. I'll keep you posted. Have a great weekend and talk soon.